What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about the recent statements that Iman Shumpert made about LeBron James, and basically saying that LeBron James may be in certain situations with the Philadelphia 76ers, may be more of a liability than he would be an asset, right? And so anytime somebody make a statement about LeBron James and people don't agree with it, you take a lot of flack. But I think that there's definitely, I mean, you can't be mad at Iman Shumpert for these statements, right? Because there's definitely some truth to it. With LeBron James being, going into his 24th year in the league, of course, in certain situations, LeBron James is going to be a liability, right? But what LeBron James has to do as an individual is know like what right now, what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are, right? And then that way he'll be better able to help the team. But if LeBron James go in there with the mindset that he's the same player that he was 5 or even 10 years ago, then LeBron James, not only will he be a liability, but he'll be somebody who really will bring the team down. So let's listen to Iman Shumpert's his reasoning, but behind what he say as far as LeBron James being a you know holding the team back or being a liability, and then I'm gonna come back and give some more of my input.
NBA championship. I think that we've seen the history of LeBron, and within 2 years of being with any franchise he's joined, he's gotten a championship. That's where these 2-year signings are coming from. But when I actually take a look at the roster and how things stack up, I don't think I'm so convinced that this is just a championship team off the rip. I think they become dangerous, but they're still going to have to compete with the youth of this league, and that's going to compete against LeBron's age, Embiid's health. They're going to lean a lot on Jaylen Brown.
They're going to have to. There's too many factors. Just way too many factors. Too much shit got to go right in order for them to be productive.
Yeah,
and I don't see it happening for more than 60 games with everybody healthy. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time,
if that.
Right. That's what, and at the same time, how much of that health is going to be, expended on usage? Like, how much of LeBron are they going to try to use? How much of VJ Edgecombe are they going to try to use?
Because they got to be in rhythm, too. They got to be in rhythm for playoffs.
At all times, too. Even if you're not getting your normal touches, because I don't even think they got enough basketballs for the time being.
That I disagree. I think they got enough basketballs. It's just, if they had LeBron 5 years ago where he could run, I just don't, even though he can still get up and down, it's just the speed that BJ and Maxey might want to play at. Bron can't play at that speed.
And so, all right, so he talking about the speed and being able to run. But, so everybody on the court, you got three guys who can run. You got Edgecombe, you got Maxey, and you got Jaylen Brown. Let those guys date the horses. Let them get out and run. When you go to your half court, then that's when you got LeBron James and Joel Embiid. I remember the Showtime Lakers back in the day. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't fill the lanes on a fast break. He was for the half court offense. Like if that initial fast break wasn't there, and then that secondary break wasn't there, then you had, you got into your half-court offense, and their half-court offense ran through Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? So I think you can do the same thing with the Sixers. You got, like I said, you got the young guys. Just let them run. Do not stop them from running. And I don't think that, teams will stop them from running. LeBron James, if he get the ball in somebody, he can make the full court or the three-quarter court outlet pass or hit somebody going to, so he don't really have to run the court like that, in my opinion. He can make and I remember Magic used to do the same thing. He used to make them long bounce passes, to guys and guys who are filling the lanes. So it's I think depending on how you use LeBron James and what his mindset will be, I think that's what is going to be in my opinion most important.
Sustain it for a full. No, he's gonna have to play it in bursts and do this here and there, but he can't do that to his body. Not this year.
All right, and so now again, if and I think that LeBron James, you already because you watched LeBron James play in LA. Sometimes LeBron James he try to pace himself anyway, right? So I don't think that he's the kind of player that you'll have to be like, let's sit LeBron James down because while he's in there, he's definitely going to go hard the whole time. LeBron James is going to pace himself anyway, and he's going to pick and choose the times when he going to go hard and when he can go hard, and probably try to save himself for later times in the game, or in that half court offense where he can just give spurts. But if I'm the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, I don't want to see LeBron James out ahead of the break anyway. Not at 40 something years old. I don't want to see that. That's why you got allow Maxey and Jaylen Brown and Edgecombe, allow those guys to, especially if I'm Edgecombe too, because remember some of you Edgecombe had a really good season last year for the Sixers, right? And so now Edgecombe got to be thinking like, wow, where am I going to get my shots at? Because a lot of last year you had Maxey, then you had Edgecombe, and you had Joel Embiid, who spent, he only played 38 games last year. So Edgecombe got a lot of shine last year, right? But this year, if you Edgecombe, you be like, God damn, we got Brown, we got LeBron coming. So how can I get my shots? And I'm thinking that if I'm Edgecombe, I'm gonna fill that lane. I'm gonna get some breaks. I'm gonna get some steals, and I'm gonna get some rebounds and some putbacks. Like the situation has changed, but he's a really great athlete and a great scorer. It's up to him, Edgecombe, to prove that he can find other ways of scoring besides being featured in the offense. And that's what I'm looking for to seeing if this guy Edgecombe can do that, because if he can score and get his points, not just, I think if he go up in scoring from last year, man, that's really going to make him look good and increase his value. So if he can maintain his same, output that he had last year, or even go above the same output that he had last year, man, I think this is a real good look for this kid Edgecombe. And because remember Maxey, when Maxey first got to the 76ers, he wasn't featured in that offense, but he carved out a role for himself. And that's what you got to do. Sometimes, in the league, they don't cater to you, or they don't feature you in the offense, but you still got to find a way to shine. You still got to find a way to steal that show. And so that's what this kid Edgecombe gonna have to do. He gonna have to crash the boards. He gonna have to play defense and get some steals and maybe get some breakaways and stuff like that, and and be very efficient. Very efficient. His career depends on it. He can't fall back and say, well, that they cut my attempts and all this other stuff, man. He got to find other ways to score. He got to have that that mindset was like, y'all can't stop me. Not even my own team can stop me. So, but yeah, LeBron James, man, at his age, I don't want LeBron James running and getting up and down. I want LeBron James in the half court, him and Joel Embiid, in that half court offense. And I think that's where they're going to make teams really pay. Because I do think that LeBron James is probably going to be one of their better half court players, because LeBron James is still a mismatch. If you put somebody small on him, he's just too strong for him. You put somebody big, I think LeBron James will be able to he have enough juice in the tank where as though he'll be able to get past him and still get off a good shot. So, and still facilitate your offense. So, Yeah, if you trying to run LeBron James like you, the Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, then yeah, you putting them at a disadvantage. You're gonna wear them down. But if you use them the right way and you conserve LeBron James, then I don't think it'll be a big deal. Like I said, LeBron James already he paced himself anyway, and that's what he's gonna have to worry about. Like the fans getting mad at him, Philadelphia fans, they see him standing around and playing that matador type defense, then the fans will get on him. But other than that, LeBron James has to be intelligent about the way he manages his energy. So that's my take on it. But I do think that Iman Shumpert makes some good points. But I just think there's ways around that. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.